In this video, we are looking at the latest feature in Horizon Worlds, the Dynamic Light Gizmo, which can be used to add moving lights to your world. This new gizmo will allow you to add both point and spotlights to your worlds, creating incredibly dynamic and engaging experiences such as campfires, headlights, dance clubs, torches, and more. This is a new lighting tool that complements the Style tab's glow material option, which if you haven't used before can be applied to objects, making them emit light. These objects can even be made invisible while still casting light. For more on that, check out the Intro to Creation playlist. Please note that glow objects lose their light emitting properties when animated, and because they are static, cannot be used to create dynamic lighting experiences. This is where the Dynamic Light Gizmo comes in, because it can be animated or even grouped into a grabbable object. You may consider making a torch or a flashlight, which we'll show you how to do later on in this video. And if you add scripting to the gizmo, you can create effects like turning lights on and off, adjusting the color, and so much more. The adjustable properties of this gizmo include color, intensity, and fall-off distance. In addition, spotlights have a property called spread that adjusts the radius of the cone of projected light. Spotlights also include an arrow that shows the direction of the rendered light. General properties such as turning the light on and off, as well as adjusting the light's intensity, fall-off distance, spread, and even color can all be controlled through scripting. You can include up to 20 visible lights in your world, and they can be animated when grouped with another object. If you pull out a light past 20, it will not emit light. You can even paint the light using the Style tab to quickly change the light's color. To do this, simply paint the color swatch on the Properties panel. Please note, you are responsible for creating safe content in your worlds. Rapidly flashing lights or colors and some geometric patterns can trigger seizures in individuals with an underlying and possibly unknown photosensitivity. These lights, colors, and patterns can also be uncomfortable for many users and lead to eye strain, fatigue, or headaches. To lower these risks, avoid using flashing strobe light effects, including rapid color changes, and high contrast stripes or geometric patterns. For more information, check out ocul.us/rendering. The possibilities with the Dynamic Light Gizmo are limitless, and we can't wait to see how you take this incredible tool and use it to create new and engaging experiences. Imagine walking through a dark cave with a torch, or adding lights that slowly fade through hues. Speaking of cool uses, let's see what it can do. To get started, pull out a dynamic light from the Gizmos section of your Build menu. Let's open up the Properties panel where you can see how many dynamic lights are currently in your world and adjust its attributes. The light can either be a point or spotlight. A point light shines uniformly, whereas a spotlight focuses the light in a single direction. I encourage you to play with these properties. It takes a few minutes to get used to how the settings work, but very quickly you'll be comfortable and on your way to creating great looking lights. From a script gizmo, we can take a look at the new code blocks. The first of these new code blocks allows you to adjust a property of the light with options for intensity, fall-off distance, or spread. The other code block allows you to turn the light on and off. In addition, you can also employ the Set Color To code block from above to set the light to any color you choose. Before we get started building a torch and flashlight, I wanted to show you a couple of awesome possibilities that these new tools unlock. By creating a script loop, these values can be changed throughout the course of the user's experience, making them extremely interactive and dynamic. In this script, you can see that we use a number variable called iterator to adjust the hue and fade the light between all colors. And in this example, instead of using an iterator, we use a random number with decimals between 0.70 and 0.85 to flash between hues of blue and purple. Or if we set the random number with decimals to be between 0 and 1, it will flash any hue. And if we make a few of these, it looks like dance floor lights. Let's look at an example. What if you wanted to create a torch to hold while exploring a dark cave? First, after pulling out a light gizmo, leave it as a point light so that it spills light everywhere it is carried. Then you can place the gizmo at the top of the torch. After grouping the torch and the light together, open up its Properties panel. You can then change the interaction setting to grabbable. Now you have a torch that you can carry around to illuminate the cave. Pretty cool, huh? This torch not for you? No worries. We can also make a flashlight. Pulling out a new light gizmo, toggle it to spotlight. Now you can place this at the end of your flashlight, making sure that you point the spotlight arrow in the correct direction. Then, after grouping them together, change the group to be grabbable like before, and look how this lights up the cave. Amazing! What if you wanted to be able to turn the flashlight on and off with a press of a button? See this 4-line script? It might look scary at first, but let me walk you through it. First, we will pull out a script gizmo. Then we will name it Flashlight. Grab the When World is Started code block and delete it by pulling down on your thumbstick. We can then find the index trigger press event on the right, bring it over to the left. This defines when we want the light to be turned on or off. From the Variables tab, we can create a Boolean variable. We will call it on/off. A Boolean variable allows us to represent a state of true or false, or in our case, on or off. From the Values tab, bring over the Set2 code block and place it under our event. Then, on our Operators tab, bring over the Not operator and place that on the right side of our Set2. And back on the Variables tab, bring over the on/off variable, placing it on both sides. Now our script says, set on/off to not on/off. Confused yet? I was too. But what this does is actually quite simple. We call this operation toggling a Boolean. It switches its state to the opposite of its current state. This means that if it was on, represented as true, it sets it to not on, better known as off or false, and vice versa. The next thing we need to do is affect the light. We can do this by first going to our Variables tab and defining two new object variables. One is called Light, and the other is called Light Bulb. Then, on our Actions tab, bring over the Set Light Enabled and Set Object Visibility code blocks. These are set to a default of Self, but since Self represents the grabbable flashlight as a whole, we need to replace Self with the object variables we just created, placing Light here and Light Bulb here. At the end, we will need to reference these on the flashlight after attaching the script. Now, where these code blocks have a toggle for true/false, replace that with the on/off Boolean variable. Now our light will turn off and on with a click of our index trigger. Now let's attach the script. From the flashlight's property panel, in the bottom right, click the drop-down and select our flashlight script. See where the object variables say empty? We will need to fill these out. You can do that by zooming into our flashlight with this button at the top, and then after opening both the bulb and the light gizmo property panels, click Zoom Out. Now we can drag the reference pills over to the empty slot for both bulb and the light. Let's try it out. Look at that. Now we can really have some fun in these caves. What other kinds of things can you do with a light gizmo? Consider making a torch that slowly burns out, launchers with glowing projectiles, or even a campfire. In Questies, we saw a spinning UFO that had several dynamic lights on it. You could similarly make a car with headlights that loops down a road, and so much more. There are endless opportunities, and the only limit is your imagination. I look forward to seeing what you create with this amazing new tool in Horizon Worlds. We'll see you there.